got to fight this guy. Oh, you got injured in camp. You lose to that guy too. Now you're set back when you could have been a champion.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of like weirdness going on with possibilities and, you know, just luck, bad luck, and good luck.
Bad luck and good luck. Timing, I think, is a big thing.
How is something like this allowed to happen? How is Jake Paul allowed to fight Gervonta Davis? It's completely unfair. It is completely just, I can't say the word that I want to say because I don't want to get canceled.
And then going out there and taking on a guy that is maybe 92 pounds heavier, that is at least 65 pounds heavier than you. That is called one thing. That's called being a bully.
Joe Rogan strongly criticizes Jake Paul for his fight with Gervonta Davis. Despite the huge size gap, he explains that weight classes exist to protect fighters and that ignoring them creates serious risks. According to him, Jake is more focused on promoting the event than respecting fairness in boxing. The concern is that Jake's much larger frame and power could cause real harm to Tank, making the matchup unsafe and unnecessary.
Sure, but no time limit within the weight classes.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
That would be that'd be pretty wild.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy.
Because you know, like two guys are facing off each other, like, and they know, like, there's no rescue every 5 minutes.
Yeah. And you go into it knowing you're either getting knocked down or submitted, or you're doing that to the other person.
Michael Bisping raises serious concerns about Jake Paul's decision to face Gervonta Davis under such extreme weight differences. He points out that Jake is preparing to fight someone who is nearly 100 pounds lighter than him, which goes against the natural balance of the sport. Bisping recalls how the fight with Mike Tyson already seemed questionable, as Tyson is 58 years old and long retired. Now, this matchup with Tank Davis only adds to the controversy because it does not appear to be based on fair competition, but rather on Jake seeking an advantage for his own benefit. Bisping stresses that boxing thrives on equal contests, yet this fight tilts so heavily toward Jake's favor that it looks less like a sporting challenge and more like an effort to secure personal gain while risking Tank's safety.
One thing, that's called being a bully. It was bad enough when he fought Mike Tyson, a man that was 58 years old, and he was walking around like, I just beat the baddest man on the planet. I just destroyed Mike Tyson and went out there and I beat him, and him and his brother are all celebrating and shit like that. It's like, dude, what are you doing? What don't you understand about this? If you want respect from your peers, if you want everyone on the planet to look at you and take you seriously and give you credit as a boxer, you have to take on challenges that are real. You have to go up against someone that keeps you up at night, against someone that gets you out of bed in the morning to go for a run because the fear of them beating you down is real. Not going up against someone that is so small. If you were to go up to this guy in a bar and try and start a fight with them, people would look at you and say one word, whoa, stop being such a bully. Leave him alone. You are way bigger than this guy. And that's clearly what we have here. It is ridiculous. When you look at the tail of the tape, Gervonta Tank Davis, granted, a very, very skilled boxer, a world champion. He's had some great wins. He's had a tremendous career. He's got 28 knockouts on his record. I'm just looking at the tail of the tape here. 30 years old, Jake Paul, 28. Gervonta Davis is 5'5" tall, whereas Jake Paul is 6'1". I would never dream on picking on a guy that is 5'5" tall. Granted, there's some tough guys out there that are 5'5", okay? They're smaller guys, but for 5'5", they'll pack a good punch. Typically, they're mixed martial artists or boxers, yeah.
Teddy Atlas reacts to the face-off between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis and highlights the extreme size difference. He says that Tank is so small compared to Jake that he would need a ladder to even touch Jake's chin, while Atlas accepts that differences in skills and style are part of the sport. He stresses that the size gap in this case is simply too much. Tank is physically too undersized to even reach Jake effectively, which makes the fight appear mismatched from the start.
Things, right? They should also have like the size of the ring, the size of the glove, all that stuff. Particulars should be in the contract. But I would probably look for one thing that is not the common thing to have in a contract if I'm Tank. A ladder. A ladder. Can I get a ladder? Somebody? You know what I mean? Hey, look, if he hits him on the chin the way he can punch, Jake might be doing a dance. You know what I mean? Not voluntarily either. But we'll get into that more later. The thing that I'm talking about right here is what you said. It was stark. The size difference was really, you couldn't ignore it. We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo, but a little different. The size difference was, it was eye-catching, jaw-dropping, and it made me think. And I'm going to ask Richie, our man here who's doing all the taping, who does such a marvelous job. I'm going to ask him because I know he's an expert in this area. But it reminded me of one of the Rocky movies where they had the face, where they did the wrestling thing with Rocky and Hulk Hogan, a.k.a. Thunderlips. He was Thunderlips back there.
Joe Rogan points out that Jake Paul's actions are more about promotion than competition. He explains that these types of fights are set up to attract casual viewers and draw curiosity by creating unusual matchups. According to Rogan, the betting talk and the spectacles surrounding these events are less about real sporting merit and more about generating headlines. He believes Jake knows how to keep his name in the spotlight and uses boxing as a platform for promotion, even when the matchups don't make much sense.
That's a problem. That makes it a problem. My opinion is, I just want to say, in case someone calls me into court, I'm a fucking idiot and I don't know nothing. And don't take my advice.
I love the Saudis.
Don't take my opinion.
I love the Israeli government. I love everybody.
That had nothing to do with them. That was Jake Paul promoting it. It's just doesn't bother me.
There's compromising the sport, and that's like bad. It's just like
if I bet on it,
watching
it
it
bothers
is
the fuck out
hard.
of me.
Watching it with people who are so in on it, and then also man, the sports betting apps, they introduced chat apps in them in Australia. So it's they're trying to take the place of social media companies where you go together and you meet your friends. Betting should be exciting enough without having a weird.
They're just trying to draw you in.
Thing.
They're just trying to make money, right? So they're trying to draw you in any way they can.
Leonard Elerb explains that Tank Davis was not in the right mental state to face Lamont Roach. He says, Tank had been dealing with many personal challenges and did not want to take on additional stress at that time. This lack of motivation is why the fight never happened, even though fans expected it. Elerb suggests that Tank was focusing more on managing his personal life than proving himself in the ring, and that stepping away from Roach was a way to avoid unnecessary pressure.